Hello everyone, Vickieverlie here, the Rock and Roll Prophetess. Today we're going to take a look at this new moon chart for June of 2023, the new moon in Gemini. It's occurring at 12:37 a.m. Eastern, so it may be on the 17th for many people. My name is Vickieverlie. You can find me at vickieverlie.com or Rock and Roll Prophetess on YouTube. Do not be fooled by imposters. Here's a look at the chart here. So the thing, it's 26 degrees of Gemini, which is exactly opposed the 26th degree of Sagittarius, the galactic center. So that galactic center is absolutely getting activated, though, even though it's like in the void or unseen. But, it's like the galactic center itself has that kind of quality to it anyway. There's this unseen quality to it. So the unseen or the unknown, I'm feeling right off just as a psychic impression, can be coming through. It's also conjunct with Miss Juno over here. So it could be a really creative time, a lot of love and beauty. Conversations could be sparked up that lead to more engagement or attraction on whatever level. Now, I do want to look at the aspectarian because just as last time, it's just, we're loaded with squares. So when you're loaded with squares, that can indicate, pretty much every aspect is a square. There's a couple of sextiles and conjunctions, but we're looking at a lot of squaring energy going on here. So squares do bring conflict. Gemini are great debaters, they're great talkers, so there could be a lot of debating, a lot of talking going on. But I feel with the Juno being involved here, that it could be resolution. There could be resolution to long-standing discord, conflicts, things of this nature. Okay, let's take a look at what some of these squares are happening here. Well, one thing that's happening, here, this chart is pretty close to the solstice chart because the solstice is only a few days away from this, and I've been doing those solstice readings. So a lot of the things that are present in this chart are also going to be present in the solstice chart. For instance, this Jupiter North Node conjunction is still very much happening, and it's happening, of course, at the solstice time as well. So this is, we're all being called. We're being called to our highest calling in life. Everybody is. And if you wanted to look at it in your chart, we could. But overall, with the Taurus energy, it's really putting down roots into the ground. It could be some kind of a financial thing where you're putting down roots in a long-time financial investment, maybe a home, maybe starting a new job, maybe just doing some kind of actual, investing through stocks or other IRAs or different things. So, but if the things that are financial things that are set up at this time, they could be very solid and long-lasting and help you in the long run to achieve your long-term financial goals. But there's more to it than that because, the Taurus energy is ruled by Venus, so it's also creativity. You could have creative ideas that are solution-oriented with all this Gemini. If we're mulling over our problems or how we need to fix this, we have things that we've been thinking about. There could be some kind of long-term creative insights, ideas that will be long-lasting, that will give you the foundation to put this to bed finally. Even though it's a new moon, I'm feeling like this is like putting things to rest and starting on this new path that is smoother, that's maybe perhaps well thought out, well discussed, but also is giving us this really strong foundation in the sign of Taurus. Okay, let's go through now. This Mercury is squaring up with the Saturn over here. That's one of the big things. And it's also, we're sextiling over here. There's a lot going on with this Venus-Mars conjunction, which is much tighter around in a couple days when the solstice chart comes in. So people are going to be falling in love with that, but let's get to this in the first place. So there is this conflict, and the conflict is between Saturn, long-term, and Mercury, what's happening right now. And also we've got the elements of the Pisces, which is the dream world or the subconscious mind. And then we've got the Mercury, which is the mental mind, the quicksilver, the thinking mind. So the square sometimes, what I'm getting, a positive slant on this might be, what I'm getting from the guides is, don't overthink it. When you're putting down these big foundations and these big life changes and these big foot on this new path going forward, these big time frames, don't get too caught in the well, overthinking it. Well, how's that going to happen? Well, where's that going to come from? Da, 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 da. When you think it to, sometimes you can think it to death, you know? You get, with Saturn and Pisces, there are long-standing, from the subconscious or the collective unconscious or your higher self or source, there are coming these broadcasts through the Piscean vibration, through the Neptunian vibration, which is also squaring this. It's another, it's a similar dichotomy of the Neptune in Pisces squaring the Sun in Gemini. So there's these squares from Pisces, the dream world, the subconscious, into the Gemini of the everyday mind, and let's work out the details and how's it going to happen. I want to know every little detail, and let's talk it. It's more of a just do it, and it's like trust. There's a big element of trust, a big element of trust in the universe, of trust in the flow, of trust of your own inner knowing. Because with the Saturn in Pisces, the inner knowing is going to be very, very strong. Inner knowing. Very, very strong, very, very clear, and very, very set up for things that can be long-lasting, that can give you that solid foundation. Saturn's not going to come around into Pisces again for another 30 years. So we could be talking about things that are, or 28, 29 years. But these really long cycles are being set up. Same with the nodes and the Jupiter thing here. Long-standing long cycles are coming up. Let's jump over to this Venus and Mars conjunction. It's a little bit loose here, but in the solstice chart, it's right in there, and it's close with the Lilith too. That's doing a lot here. Well, let's look at the aspectarian. It's squaring the Neptune. Oh, that's the Sun. Wrong thing here. It's squaring the Jupiter. Yeah, I knew there was some kind of a square going on here. It's squaring with the Jupiter. So again, getting motivated to jump into action. Of course, Venus and Mars, these are the love planets. Everybody knows this is the love and this is the passion, So it could be, it's often associated with romance. But, in a lot of people's life, that's not the top priority. Either you're in a long-term relationship or you're just not even going there right now. So Venus and Mars is, you have to think, it's love, what you love, and what you're passionate about. And in the sign of Leo, they're joined together in a really strong bond, in a really a warm embrace is what the guys are coming through with. I was trying to say something else, and they're coming through with warm embrace. Yeah, so it could be, again, that's kind of, lends itself to some romantic things. Could be that kind of warm embrace or that kind of love. But I'm feeling it's more like warm embrace, like embrace this, whatever's manifesting, whatever's coming through. Jupiter is bringing a blessing. Whatever's being manifest with Jupiter conjunct the North Node and activating this Venus-Mars, but Jupiter is bringing that blessing. Sometimes when it's involved in squares, it might not seem like a blessing. Some of you, there could be some kind of an end to a relationship. It could be. But if that's the case, it's opening you up to more love, more passion. If it's, work-related, it could be, a work job that you love or a project that you love and you are passionate about it. With the Venus energy, and, Venus rules Taurus, well, we talked about all this, and the Venus energy being here, this is what it could be creativity, but it also is like, it's heart-centered. It's what makes your heart sing. It's what lights you up inside. There is a grand trine, or is it a grand trine? There's a trine to fire, though. The other thing that's going on here, well, it's involving Lilith, too. Yeah, we've got this fire energy. If you happen to have anything, in the teens, let's say, 13 to 20 of Sagittarius, it will be filling in some big grand trine for you over here. But right now it's just these two that are trining. So there's something that's working in harmony. We've got a harmonious connection, something that can work together, something that's fluid, and it's this love, and it's this long-standing wounds that Chiron is trying to deal with here. So that's why I said, too, some people might be ending relationships. But if that's the case, I feel like whatever this is, there's an opportunity to really dive into that Leo energy, to really dive into that I feel better. You know, I'm having fun. I'm enjoying life. That 5th house, which is also creativity. But it also is these long-standing wound things. You know, there's these long-standing wounds that we're all dealing with as a collective, but we're dealing with it. Venus, Mars, these are personal planets. A lot of times this might be more on a personal level. And, you know, if something culminates and says, okay, I'm done with this, then, you know, it could be a case of I'm breaking this pattern of healing. Chiron has helped me to see the error in my ways, the error of my ways. That's what the guides came through with. Chiron can help you to see that so that you can embrace this, you know, the Venus, Mars, the Leo energy, the more funner things in life, the more what truly lights you up, what you're truly passionate about. So this is some positive stuff that could be coming out of, you know, a lot of squares, a lot of tumultuous stuff. Now, at this time, too, Pluto here has moved back into Capricorn for a few more months until at the end of the year it's going to go back into Aquarius permanently. You know, I do have some notes in my phone. I think I'm going to make a little video about my, you know, insights into the Pluto in Aquarius, that a few little downloads that I got about it. But so we are kind of reviewing some of these old things. We're retouching on these Saturnian, because it's Capricorn equals, you know, Saturn equals Capricorn. You know, it's a ruler. So, you know, we're revisiting these long-standing, these old paradigm, these patriarchal, you know, because there was so much of the Pluto in Capricorn that was very much patriarchal in nature. You know, there was a lot of the Me Too movement, and there was many things of taking down the patriarchy. You know, there was this, maybe taking down isn't the right term, but, you know, upheavals in that arena. And we got some finishing touches to do. It's like backtracking. It could be on the grand scale of life, like I'm talking about, but it also could definitely be in your personal life. We've got some finishing touches to put on these things here. We've got some finishing touches. We've got some final revisions. We've got some final thoughts. We've had a little bit of a time kind of out of the Capricorn energy as we moved into Aquarius there for these few months. And we've had a little time to reflect, and we've got like a little bit of a do-over, I almost want to say, or a little bit of, you know, go back and say, okay, we're leaving this for the rest of our incarnations here, everybody, because it's going to be 200, 300 years or whatever it is. Long time. Longer than a human lifetime. Till it comes around again. Is there any more that I need to do, or do I have any final thoughts, or is there any... now that what do I want to put to rest permanently? And it may be involving your career. This was the Great Resignation while Pluto was in Capricorn. A lot of people changed careers or just quit their, you know, stopped doing what they were, stopped striving in that 10th house, striving. See, I've been really, you know, vibing on this new energy. You know, 10th house, if you're an astrologer, 10th house is career. That's the first key word that comes, you know. Well, 10th house is career. You know, there's always like 2nd house is money. You know, 3rd house is communication. There's like these one-word keywords that are your first go-tos that everybody uses, right? And lately, I've been really rethinking this 10th house, and it's been during this phase. And it's like, you know, the 10th, your career isn't always your end-all and be-all of everything in life. You know, for many years that has been the case, probably since that 1980s alignment. And I was just looking that up the other day, and I forgot it again. You know, the galactic, whatever it was called. It was the big thing that happened in the 80s, late 80s, and that big lineup in Capricorn. And that's when there was all that yuppie energy going on, and that not the dark side, but the, you know, the downside of the Capricorn energy. Let's just be career, it's everything, and, you know, striving to be the best and make the most money, and, you know, and it's kind of led to, you know, where we're at now, because people wanting more. You know, I have to have more, bigger this, bigger that, you know. I have to have my own spaceship, you know. Things like that, the gap in the wealth thing. But this is kind of like a finishing touches of that. You know, there's a kind of a finishing touches of that. And, that's what I was talking about, the 10th house. Good thing I wrote that down, because I kind of really lost my way there for a minute. But anyways, 10th house. The 10th house could be so much more than your career path. you know. It's what you're striving for in life. It's what's the highest you can obtain. The highest you can obtain in this incarnation. Obtain. What you're striving for. And, you know, maybe your career, or maybe your career's set and you're cool with that. And, you know, there's many other things that you could be striving for to live your best life. You know, so I've been really rethinking that, and when I'm doing the readings, I'm really gearing that 10th house a little bit more towards that rather than career. You know, that's it. You know, those canned answers, those canned categories, you know. It's much more. And the Pluto in Pluto in Capricorn has shown us that. So there's a little bit more of reflecting on all that. There's a little bit more of the finishing touches of the different upheavals, because Pluto is always going to bring upheaval and big changes. Pluto is also big money too. You know, it's the card. It's not the card, but the planet of big money. So big money kinds of things we're not done dealing with that. We're not done transforming that. That's not the final transformations. Have maybe not really been laid into place or put down, you know. It's making these sextiles with this Neptune too, so more things are going to be uncovered. That's coming through really strong. Things are going to be uncovered that are right along these lines, that are, you know, toppling. I'm hearing, you know, it's like things are toppling. And I feel like that is in personal lives too, especially if you have these high degrees, you know, these 27, these 29 degrees in your chart, and it's making these aspects to your chart, which is something we could look at in the solstice reading if you're interested in it. But at any rate, you know, things are being discovered that could change a whole, you know, paradigm changing, that have been hidden. I was just watching that movie about the whole, I guess I didn't really know it was the New York Times broke the whole story about the Harvey Weinstein thing like that. And really, you know, it was part of kicking off the whole Me Too and all that stuff. But I forgot why I bring that up, but there it was, you know, things that have been going on for years and years and years. You know what I question when I watched that movie? I question where were the other men in this? Because he had teams of people helping him with this Neptune, covering this stuff up for him. Where was their integrity? Why aren't they being called out on the carpet? He didn't do this alone. I mean, he's what he is, but he wasn't working alone. Why did all the other men and even some women, but mostly the other men, why did they stand by and perpetuate this and enable him? You know, where were they when all this was going on? That's what the thing that my takeaway of that was. Yeah, you could pin him to be the villain, and certainly it seems like he was a villain, you know, but where was these other guys that were, you know, what is that? There's an old parable about something, to stand and do nothing or something, you know, is just as bad as doing it, you know. But I digress. I just happened to watch that like yesterday or the day before. But there's going to be more of that, and it's in your personal lives too, big time. You know, there's things that, and you didn't have these realizations, but with this energy, it's something that was always there with the Neptune. It's always there, but we just aren't focusing our awareness on it. That's another thing that Saturn in Pisces can really do, I feel, is focus our awareness. Take our 3D reality, our Earth, you know, Capricornian, Saturnian, 3D reality, and work together with, and let in the things that are always the cloud, that are always floating around in the collective unconscious, the things that have, you know, it was hiding in plain sight, you know, these things that have been right in front of our face, but maybe even with this whole career, strive, you know, outdoing the Joneses or whatever, like, you know, we just don't take a minute to see it, to look at it, you know, but it was always there. But we were so obsessed in our Saturnian, Capricornian way of getting ahead. I keep wanting to say, what's that? Keeping up with the Joneses. That's what it was. Yeah, keeping up with the Joneses. That we weren't aware of it. You know, there's things all the time. We walk by in nature, it's all around us in beauty, and we don't see it. we're in the rat race, driving in our car, trying to get to our job, and we're in that mode of that focus. There's beauty all around, and there's truth, and there's beauty in truth. The guides just came to it. Yeah, there's beauty in the truth. There's beauty in the truth, and yes, Plutonian, it may transform, it may rock your whole entire world, your whole entire being, but it needs to happen. It needs to happen to move forward. It needs to happen. We need to clear this all out so when Pluto goes permanently into Aquarius, that we can really embrace that Aquarian 11th house stuff. That which is that, well, it's moving forward in the future, more than anything. But it's also, the brotherhood of man, all that kind of stuff. We're all in this together. We're all one big earth family kind of vibe that's, coming down the pike, coming around the corner. Okay, where are we at? What else do we do? There's a lot. There's a lot. And again, if you want me to look at this in the solstice, I could probably rip out my solstice notes and look at a lot of the other, what's going on, because I have many notes on the aspects here. Yeah, there's a Jupiter sextile Saturn. So that's a nice thing, too. I think I did discuss that a little bit. But, yeah, the Jupiter blessings, bringing the Saturn down to Earth, bringing it into Earth, and bringing connection to the beauty in life. Because ultimately, the Neptune, or Pisces, Neptune, Pisces, all the same thing here, right? 12th house, is, the beautiful expression. It's film. It's seeing, it's that emotional, it's that crying tears of wonderment, tears of joys. That's all, that's the highest expression of that realm of, the miraculous unfolding of life. That's what the guides are coming through with. They're always good for the flowery language. Yeah, the miraculous unfolding of life, that Neptune is always expressing through. And the soup we're swimming in our earthly incarnation. Yeah, the other big thing is this Pluto square node thing is still happening for sure. That's still going on. Jupiter's coming into the mix. And I wouldn't count this, though. I really wouldn't count this Venus to a little degree. Leading up to it more. The Venus will be moving into that place. But, the Pluto's changing. The nodes are changing. Fate. Nodes are fate, nodes are a calling, nodes are our highest, as a bigger picture, more than our earthly wantings. The nodes are what the hell do we even come here for? And that's the Neptune can help you ponder that too. Did I come here to sit in rush hour traffic every day? No. I came here to be an expression of my soul's beauty, or, whatever, And I know, yeah, there's bills to pay and all this kind of stuff, and believe me, I know. Here's the other thing, though. If I didn't catch this right off, yeah, there's a full moon with the Neptune squaring to the Neptune, but it's also, we got this opposition to the Ceres here, too, in Virgo. So, Ceres wants to bring in the abundance too. Ceres, even though it's an opposition, I'm really getting the strong energy of Ceres wants to work with Neptune. Ceres wants to create abundance and beauty and wants to flourish. Ceres wants to flourish. And then the Neptune can bring, they're showing me like these flowery little cottages with flowers all over and peaceful, pastoral settings and life, simple but beautiful kind of things, So that's what the image that I'm getting from the guides when I look at this. And, just happiness of being, in touch with not only the earth and the earth plane with the Ceres energy, having the garden and with the Taurus too, but also, I totally forgot what I was going to say. I'm sorry. That happens sometimes. So that's why I talk really fast a lot of the times, because I'm really trying to get that out there before I forget it. But yeah, this trine is trining to Pluto too. So Ceres can help you feel safe, feel secure, feel like it's going to be okay. It's okay to make big changes. It's okay to allow in thoughts that are maybe outside the norm. These thoughts, these thoughts that are, maybe we can put those down for a minute and just be in the presence of whatever, our own inner peace, whatever, whatever is relevant to you. I'm not, you don't have to name it any specific thing. And then we've got the Vesta down here too, also in these high degrees here. So, even if you don't have these points in your chart, and this is also involved, because this is about to cross over and be 29. We've got, there's these big culminations of big, long cycles are culminating. In particular, especially with the Pluto and the Neptune, because these are very long-standing cycles, hundreds of years to go around the wheel. The other ones are not hundreds of years. They go faster. But yeah, so hundreds of years of cycles are ending. I mean, it really is huge. I know you probably hear a lot of readers saying that, but it really, really is huge. It's funny, I forgot about this series, because when I very first opened the chart, all these angles here, this all grabbed me, like it was all, this arrow was pointing to Ceres. So Ceres is the goddess of the grain, the harvest. I think of Ceres as the Empress, and I even changed when I did my deck. Let me see if I can show it to you. I even changed the Ceres. I mean, it's Venus, I think, on the original. Let me find our Empress card. But because the Empress, to me, just illustrates the energy of Ceres just so well. She's abundant. Ceres is abundant. Ceres is calm. Ceres is not chasing after anything or going after anything, or in the Gemini mode perhaps of frantically worrying about anything or trying to work out all the details. She just knows her needs will be met, and she's abundant. And she's not chasing after, I'm shuffling the cards as if I'm going to do a reading. I actually wanted to show the Empress. I actually wanted to show the Empress card. She's not chasing anything. She's abundant. She knows she's abundant. And she just allows, she stays in that calm state of receiving. It's very much a state of receiving and being receptive. That's another big thing about this Empress energy. The divine feminine, the mother of, Mother Earth, even. I think I missed. I do want to show you, because what I did, this, brought this to mind. What I did when I created this deck, here it is. I did change, instead of Venus being here. Hope we can get them both in focus, can we? Yeah, see, I put Ceres. I changed the Empress to Ceres when I changed this deck around. So, yeah, because it's so much the Empress energy. It's so much is this calm. And everything really, like I said, just let me get all this off of here. When I opened this chart, that's what grabbed me. And it's almost like maybe even an arrow, a bow and arrow is being drawn, right? Like this is the bow, and the arrow is being drawn back and about to be fired right over here, right at Ceres. So we need to know. Well, here's the thing. It's at 29 of Virgo. And, sometimes when I get in these modes, these Gemini are thinking too much mode. The downside of Gemini, it could be flashes of brilliance too, downloads. But, I think about, well, I've made it this far, right? I've been through things before, and I've made it out the other side, and I'm okay. So it's kind of like learning that lesson, like, things are going to happen. There's going to be, forks in the road, and arrows are going to be slung, and life's full of twists and turns and ups and downs. But if you can stay calm, well, again, that poem, thanks, somebody sent it to me. I'm sorry, I can't pull your name right this minute, but yeah, it's actually Rudyard Kipling, the author of the Jungle Book, which was very surprising. But if you can keep your head while those about are losing theirs, staying calm is really paramount in these times of big changes, and grounding that calm energy into the earth, and staying in your peace, whatever that means to you. If you're not a meditator, so be it. Maybe like I get lost in doing art, that really calms me down, or just walking in nature, or whatever it might be. It's getting lost in a good book. That would be with a Gemini energy, a good time to just get lost in a good book. But anyways, yeah, so this is a chart, again, very similar to the Ingress chart, the Cancer Ingress, the solstice chart, which is like 3 days later. So if you're interested in how all these big paradigm changes may affect your chart, that's going to be available only till the end of the month of June. And also, it's probably going to be the last chart transit read that I'm going to offer for the rest of the year, it looks like. Or at least these Ingress charts for sure. I may do something else later on, but I think I'm not going to offer the fall Ingress chart. And then I never offer the winter one because I'm always doing the year aheads at that time. So if you want to get a transit reading and haven't had one, it doesn't cover just for that day. Especially the ingresses are an imprint of the energetic frequencies moving forward for the next season, or even really the next half of the year. So if you enjoy more of the astrology readings, those are going to be available again till the end of the month. I was going to say the end of the year, end of the month. And if you like the tarot readings more, I do always have those available too on my chart. So thanks for tuning in today. I hope you guys all have a great new moon in Gemini. Get out and do things, busy, you know, have fun, write letters, read books, third house activities, but don't let that mind get too, and if those flashes of brilliance come through, don't think it to death. Don't beat it to death, and because you can ruin the energy that way. Or talk to everybody, go around asking everybody, what do you think? What do you think? Go more with the resonance of your soul and what you feel in your gut is right, and that's going to be the ticket to, you know, making things happen. Okay, everybody, have a great new moon. We'll talk again soon. Bye.